So I once read in the third edition of Nutrition Concepts and Controversies that you may be clothed in the latest fashions and your car might be of the latest model, but the body that you live in is that of a caveman or cavewoman. You have come a long way from the cave dwellers in many ways, in medicine, in language skills, in the arts, and especially in the use of machinery. But in the ways your body handles food, toxins, and air pollutants, there have been few, if any, changes. So I ask you now, why have we altered the way we eat? Well, I believe it is because we have not been educated on how processed foods affect us. So today, which is why today I will be explaining to you exactly why we should all be eating whole foods. For those of you who may not already know, whole foods are foods that have been processed or refined as little as possible and are free from additives and other processed ingredients. Whole foods, in other words, whole foods are real foods. Foods like freshly grown garden fruits and vegetables. Foods, for example, without any added sugar. It is a known fact that sugar affects us in many negative ways. For example, it increases our risk of developing diabetes, cancer, and presents other health risks. Studies have shown that sugar can increase the risk of depression. For me to change my diet, it only took those 3 words: cancer, depression, and malnutrition. For others, it might actually take more. So here are some other terrifying facts about the substandard ingredients that create our beloved processed foods. Processed foods are addictive. Yes, it is in fact true. Due to the excess of added salts, sugars, and fats, our brains enter a happy mood when eating these processed foods, which is why we reach for them repeatedly. In one of his articles, Annie Blue explains that many studies have investigated whether or not processed foods should actually be considered as addictive in the exact same way as many recognized drugs. Secondly, the famous red dye, the most commonly used synthetic dye, better known as red number 40, is produced from swiss coccinelle, which are bugs, and they also derive from either coal or petroleum byproducts. This dye has also been shown to have a link to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. And I was terrified to learn that foods labeled strawberry, cherry, berry, or even orange flavored may contain byproducts of coal and petroleum. Processed foods are addictive and deadly, and food manufacturers are pushing a deceptive narrative about these foods. Reason enough, I believe, for you to change your diet. It's not only our bodies that are being affected by these processed foods we choose to eat. The wrappers, which protect the foods and ensure the freshness, are also killing our planet. These wrappers and containers contribute to air, water, and land pollution. The wonderful treats we choose to eat can contain up to 7 layers of packaging, most of which is non-recyclable. And throughout their life cycle, these packages contribute to the 3 main types of pollution. The production and manufacturing of these packages releases toxic gases into our atmosphere. Packaging also then accumulates in our streets and is often subsequently found floating in our oceans. My last argument is, and should be for all of you, the most important of all. Processed foods have significantly reduced nutritional value. Ironically, even though these foods are usually served in oversized portions, they still lack nutritional value. And when eating oversized portions of processed foods, it also means that you're eating too much salts, too many additives, sugar, and fats, and still not enough nutritional value. Some companies have even started adding synthetic minerals and vitamins to compensate for the lack of nutrients in their products. Now, I'm not suggesting that all additives contribute negatively. In fact, some of them have proven to be genuinely beneficial. For example, a common additive called L-ascorbic, which is a form of vitamin C and has actually been proven to boost the immune system and stave off disease. However, synthetic minerals, vitamins, synthetic nutrients and all are not a good replacement for nutrient originally found in whole foods. And they certainly aren't enough to balance out the number of bad calories. 63% of an average person's calorie consumption is derived from processed foods, which means that 63% of the calories that we intake are bad calories. And to be more specific, what I mean by bad calories are calories originating from unhealthy substances such as white flour and corn syrup, basically empty calories. These are the calories that lack the nutrients that we need, that our body needs to remain healthy. As irrational as it may sound, it might actually be better to eat nothing at all than to eat these processed foods. In conclusion, processed foods are bad. They've always been bad for our bodies, for our minds, and for our planet. Hopefully now you'll realize how large this vicious circle has grown to be. Thank you.